Welcome back to Meet Me in the Basement. Today we're talking about Carlos Prates, who finished 2024 with 4 walk-off KOs. If you're just learning of Carlos, he's the newest contender from the Fighting Nerds, aka Kyle Bahayo's team. If you don't know them, I'll just say Carlos won't be the only fighting nerd who will have one of these videos made for him. Carlos is a fellow Southpaw, or a South Paisan if you will. He is a Contender Series alumni with an absolutely wild 78-inch reach in the welterweight division. He also chiefs butts like nobody's business. Of those 4 walk-off knockouts, we're going to be looking at 2 of them specifically, the first of which being the Neil Magny first-round knockout. We'll keep this section somewhat brief, as it did have a somewhat odd conclusion, to say the least, and there isn't also much to say about it. First, we'll talk about Carlos' takedown events, which we know can be an issue with these Muay Thai guys, but Carlos did well. He reversed one of the Neil Magny's takedown attempts, even scoring his own. At one point, Magny went for a single leg and had Carlos basically doing a standing split, but Carlos stayed up, so he did well there. Later, Carlos did drop Neil with a check right, but Magny also kind of just fell over on this one. It was a little strange. Ultimately, it was a left cross to the temple or forehead, whatever you want to call it, that put the lights out for Magny. It didn't really appear to land in the moment, which was strange, but when you watched it on the replay in slow motion, you could see it. The fact that it was a glancing blow really just speaks to how much power Carlos possesses in both his left and his right hand. It's really just a touch of death. If he finds anywhere on your face with either of those hands, you're going to sleep. Up next, we're going to be looking at this second round knockout over the ever-durable Li Jingliang, aka the Leech. I want to start by mentioning that going into this fight, the Leech had never been knocked out before. The dude is tough as nails, and you'll definitely see that in this fight. It started as a leg kick battle as both men tried to establish their range. Prates was very light on his feet here, but the Leech was able to land several pretty good body kicks off of it. But once Carlos landed the first jab of the fight, he found his range and started opening up with more boxing-heavy counterpunches. With Prates starting to land more, the Leech got kind of chaotic. He started walking in with these wild combinations, but Carlos rose with them really well, and he was able to pivot off to Leech's weak side, which was really nice footwork. This led to a grazing left from Prates to Leech's ear that briefly dropped him, but it was also kind of a stumble. It was a little bit hard to tell. But the round ends with Prates starting to land head kicks, and he dropped Leech several times with more heavy lefts, and honestly, Li Jingliang was kind of lucky to get out of this round alive, so... Round 2 starts off with Prates landing some big head kicks, first with a lead right front kick and then a left roundhouse. From here, it was more or less the same as the previous round, with Prates visibly loosening up. After that, Carlos could not miss with the left hand, honestly. He just, every time he threw it, was touching Leech's face, touching his chin, touching his temple. After about 7 straight left crosses, though, he changes it up to a left hook and utterly flatlines Li Jingliang. It was kind of brutal. He straight up went out. You'll see it here. So our takeaways here are, for one, Carlos Prates possesses devastating power in both hands. He has good defensive awareness and footwork, but is also open to attacks from his opponent's right side at times, and he can get hit when opponents rush him. But this is also where Prates finds deadly counterpunches. It kind of seems like a live by the sword, die by the sword type of mindset. Ultimately, Carlos Prates is a deadly, exciting contender in the stacked welterweight division of the UFC, and I can't wait to see what the future offers him. As always, if you're still here, if you could just like this video, also consider subscribing to the channel. I plan on doing a lot more videos like this in 2025, so stick around to see more of them. Lastly, on an entirely unrelated note, if you are one of the scumbags who spoiled the Vegeta Super Saiyan 3 from Dragon Ball Daima last week, you are a loser. You will rot in the deepest caverns of hell. This may be a little bit late coming to you, but guess what? I recorded this 2 weeks ago, so too bad. It's new, it's fresh to me, and you ruined it. It was 15 minutes after the episode aired, and it was already on the internet. You guys suck. No one can have any fun. I leave you with that. Goodbye.